Last week, I had the opportunity to attend with President Valerie Abbott, Wardeen Alexander, and John Hilliard, the graduation ceremony of our pilot program for our 23 Birmingham City School students who completed the first Birmingham Promise workforce program, which will continue into this new school year. At this point, I actually have a video that I'd like to share about the initiative.
The Birmingham Promise is the city's commitment to transforming the architecture of opportunity in our city. We want to do that through providing students with real-world work opportunities that help them build mentorships and professional experiences, and then supporting them when they go off to post-secondary institutions for school.
So I did my summer apprenticeship at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama.
I chose big communications.
I've been at Altech for the past 7 weeks.
It's been great. Just learning how to communicate in a corporate setting. I'm really grateful for the experience.
My experience at Shipt has been amazing. They had me involved with the marketing team, shopper engagement.
Thank you for calling Shipt.
It made me feel like I actually belonged here.
Ben has been a joy to work with. He has done everything from building curriculums, running reports.
I'm more than glad that I did this apprenticeship this summer. It's everything that I could imagine.
Working with Altech over the past 7 weeks has been one of the greatest experiences of my life, actually. Altech really got my wheels turning, working with a bunch of engineers.
Every day for the past 7 weeks, he's surrounded by engineers. Just being able to make that connection for him is huge.
It doesn't rust like steel does.
I feel like they definitely cared. They wanted to get me out of there with some type of skill, some type of knowledge.
We're only as good as the talent that grows here, and I think that exposing more people like Zamora to what's going on in her own city so she doesn't have to leave is kind of all of our responsibility.
This is our state, this is our city, it's our community, and we want to be a part of the future of the workforce. We're extremely proud to be a part of the Birmingham Promise.
Being at the forefront of something like this is special. We hope to continue to be a part of it in the future as well.
We'd love more than one if we could. I would highly encourage other companies to participate in Birmingham's Promise.
If you're an organization doing business in Birmingham, you have a vested interest in the success of our students.
We have a lot to offer here in Birmingham, so I think it would be great for as many companies in Birmingham to participate as possible.
I think what I want to do is allow Councilor Hilliard, if Madam President, you allow him to speak, and Ms. Alexander, and let you be the caboose on what you all witnessed and experienced last
Councilor
week.
Hilliard.
Wow, thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Mayor, for having the vision and bringing that to our city. I think it's very important that we continue to radiate and get the word out. Birmingham must change. We must change our direction of how we deal with education. We can no longer operate in the past. We must operate in the future. In doing so, we have to meet the demand that the corporate community is asking us for. It's unfortunate. A 4-year education is important, but it is not the only way to go. I tell people what we have to do now, we have to adopt to the way things are going. The time we spent in Germany, we realized that in Germany, all of education is free. So people could get the opportunity to take these apprenticeships, to learn their skill set and their work set, and be able to translate that into opportunity and a job. And once they get on these jobs, now they have the ability and the experience to use that money to send themselves to college. I think it's very important that we instill in our young people a different type of work ethics and give them the opportunity on the front end rather than the back end to make things happen. To graduate from college with a bunch of debt and then not even able to find a job, or even if you get a job, you're making less than your bills are, and you can't operate. This is the future and the way we should really want to take our citizens in. I don't know how we're going to do it, but my push for this is that we have to educate the very least of these at grassroots on how important what we're doing in education is. If we want Birmingham to go forward, we have to look into the future, and we have to pull everyone along with us. So, Madam President, and I implore this to all of my colleagues, we have to work to re-educate our community on the importance of apprenticeship, the importance of getting exposed, and being in those corporate environments. You can't take that away from a kid, that experience, once they get that. So, Mayor, I say to you, continue to push forward, and when you're an innovator and you're doing something different, you're gonna get the naysayers saying it won't work. But I realize this, you got to keep trying and pushing to the very end. Thank you, Madam President. And not only the council, but I challenge each one of you in the audience to reach out to other corporate communities, other providers, and even some of the leaders in our communities. They need to understand how important it is for apprenticeships and the things that we're trying to do right now. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilor Alexander.
Well, thank you very much, Madam President. And I want to echo what Councilor Hilliard has said, but I want to speak about Birmingham Promise in a little bit different vein. When I served on the Board of Education, I had the pleasure for the 2 years as the president to shake the hands of every student who graduated from the city of Birmingham. And just in May, I had the opportunity to shake the hands of every student that graduated from Winona High School. And I think you'll remember, Mr. Mayor, that we had one council member that would always ask the students as they were going through the line, what's your next goal? What are you going to do? And often students were not able to tell us what their goal was or what they were going to do, when the vision of Birmingham City Schools is to ensure that students are college or career ready. Birmingham Promise gives them this opportunity. Their apprenticeship, the opportunity to work with these Fortune 500 companies here in the city of Birmingham. What city provides students with an opportunity not only to go and to gain that experience, but to also obtain a salary and work for that? So I am truly excited about what the city of Birmingham and under your vision have done for the students in Birmingham City Schools through Birmingham Promise. I'm just excited. I also want to agree, in sitting in this seat, not only do you have a responsibility to advocate, but you also have a responsibility to educate. Right. And my role here today is to educate the public on this need to support our students and to invest in our students. Again, I'm very excited about the work that's been done for Birmingham Promise, and I thank you. I do also want to refer to an article that appeared in the Birmingham Times recently, where they spoke with students and parents, those 23 students who were part of Birmingham Promise. Let's listen to the children. Let them speak. They all talked of the wonderful experience they had. I had the opportunity to talk to Winona High School's valedictorian, Stacy Foster, who's a part of that program. She was one of the 23, and she's taken this experience with her to start her freshman year at Alabama State. So I thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. O'Quinn.
Yes. Mayor Woodfin, I applaud you for this initiative. It's certainly, something that's been needed for a long time. And I have actually had several inquiries from the corporate community asking, how they can get involved. And up to this point, I've just been referring them to Ms. Harmon.
Keep doing it.
As soon as there is some opportunity for the corporate community to maybe interface, as a whole with the initiative and learn more about how they can get plugged in, please pass that information along to us, because we do have people actively seeking to be involved.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I was inspired by those young people at the graduation. I was nothing like that when I graduated from high school. I mean, I was afraid to stand up and talk to anybody, especially not in a public setting. And just to see those young people, I mean, they were full-grown adults and they were in there doing the jobs. It was very impressive. And we do need more people in the corporate community, but businesses of any type can have an intern. It doesn't have to be a corporation. I mean, I was sad to see that my former corporation was not one of them, but I'm going to encourage them to jump in, because we have so many students to benefit from that opportunity, and only a handful got to participate in this pilot. But we need hundreds of businesses to take on these young people so that they can learn. I was just inspired by the quality of the young people and how inspired they were. I mean, their level of enthusiasm was just wonderful. So I think we all need to encourage as many businesses as we can, because it doesn't have to be a big giant corporation.
No, it does not.
Could be a mom and pop business that wants to teach someone the ins and outs of running a business. We have some kids that want to be entrepreneurs. So I just thought it was wonderful, and I think we all need to work to encourage other businesses to take on an intern. And the other thing I wanted to say is, I've admitted to y'all that I have a resistance to change. And so, we took the money that we gave the school system last year and we used it for the Promise program. But the thing that I was encouraged by was the fact that because of all the growth in Birmingham, really that money has been replaced by taxes that have come into the school board. So they really didn't lose $3 million. They kind of stayed even on that $3 million, and this is in addition. And I don't think most people in the public know that, and that's a big deal. Growth in Birmingham and the success we're having has actually replaced that $3 million, so we didn't take anything away from anybody, and I think that that's an important point for people to consider.
I will say this, Madam President, you made a very valid point. I think what was lost in this conversation with the Birmingham Promise attached to the dollars is that I wish we could give the money directly to the school system, but that's not how state law wouldn't allow that. Remember, this money is, although it's taken from an organization, it's still going to the people the organization serves, which are children. The funding is, but you need a fiscal agent to support actually paying children. The school system can't do that, nor can the city of Birmingham. So I think when we're having this conversation, that should be included if we're being honest. One last note, and then I'll take my seat. A public meeting on how nonprofits and organizations can apply for funding from our new Bold Fund, which you all not only